Good morning, YouTube land. How's it going? It's Tim and Yamez here. Sunday morning Blacksmiths Church. How you guys all doing? I had to see we've had a few people in already. We've got Ignis and Sam sitting there competing for who's first. West Falls, how's it going? Russ, Daniel, Ben, Bobby, Shane, Aimless, Granddads, Dan Boyles, Metalman, Kenneth, how you doing? Oh, what a morning. Old Wolf, how's it going? Bryson, Drayson? Yep. Can y'all see us? Can y'all hear us? Morning, Tim. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. I'm on my second of 3 cups of coffee here.
I am on my second of probably 4 or 5. Cheers to you, my friend. Good Sunday morning.
Yep. Hey, Walt. Hey, Jim. Gordon, what's up? Gotta refresh. No sound. Yes, refresh. Yeah. So, seeing here, very good. So, Mr. Tim, you've got that, you're working on the manuscript stuff, the Rusty Damascus and all that stuff.
That is true.
I believe you have one more video to come out with that, right?
That is correct. I'm working on it right now. As a matter of fact, I just finished up that billet last night. Actually, I think I've got one more thing I want to do with it, but it went right into the vinegar.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys should be seeing that video come out by tomorrow night, if not sooner.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm enjoying watching those. I mean, it kind of takes and flips everything up on its head. You know, everybody's saying you have to have like perfectly clean metal to forge weld it, and to make Damascus it needs to be alternating, you know, types of steel and all that stuff to make pattern welded steel. And
right.
What you're doing literally just takes that whole concept and says, nope.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
So at the end of that particular, I don't know, I think it's probably only 3 or 4 paragraphs, maybe 5 paragraphs over about a 3-page section of this 500-page document. And at the very end of that, it talks about using a steel and a mild steel layering, and with cast iron between those layers, with borax between that. But you start off with everything just super rusty.
Right.
So, and this is under the section of how they made swords, not gun barrels. The previous stuff was gun barrel Damascus. This is sword Damascus they're talking about. Right. So I followed their recipe as close as I could, right down to the only thing I didn't do is they said, you know, fold it a couple of times and then twist. And I have not twisted it yet. I'm going to wait and see what the pattern looks like.
Right.
Because you got to remember, original Damascus was sort of a crucible steel, and it was drawn out and folded over and drawn out and folded over. So it didn't have all these wild patterns in it that we get nowadays. It was pretty much a just straight strata of strands of metal running through the thing. So, and they were trying to emulate that with this stuff. So
right.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
we will see how it goes.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to say hey to the people who just popping in. How you doing, Mr. Robertson? James Jones. We've got Tommy Wright through his name in the ring. Augie Zenner. Good morning. Bill Corey rolled in. Sister Donut Forge is here. Adam from Speargrass showed up. Tech Grindmatic. Jim Patterson. Mountain Creations. Joel S. is here. Excuse me. And Mark and First Reed just showed up. Thank you, Mark. Glad you like it. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Wow, lots of folks here. Jim, got the package. Thank you so very much. And I think you probably know that. I think your wife sent you a message. And Granddad's Forge, yes, more coffee. Thank you, sir. So there, I got a little package opening thing coming out a little bit later, Yamez. So that's going to be probably a separate video.
Cool. Russ, it's
Right
awesome.
on.
You got the stickers. How you doing, White North? I'd like to take a quick split second to let the chat know I've got the chat readout going, and when like what Tim just did is, if we're in the middle of explaining or talking or something or responding to a question, and I see somebody say this, like I say, hey, what's up? Or yeah, I got you. Just so y'all know that I am reading along, and I believe so is Tim. So
trying to keep up, yes.
Yeah,
Trying to keep up.
We're trying to keep up. It's we discussed this after the show last week. We've got two personalities. Well, really, we've got three personalities. Mine, Tim, and then the chat. And the chat is a split multiple personalities. So we've all got it. It's like we're gonna streamline it, and Island Metal Ford. Yep, Granddad's Ford sent them to me too. Really happy with three-shaped one. It looks on the back of my laptop. Awesome. Yeah, I that die-cast Palm and Crossbones ones came out really, really nice, and Dana cut that out for me. I really like it's. You can see the below me right here is it's what the sticker is, and it did come out really nice. So, thank you. I'm glad you guys like it.
Dogbone Knife says it's a Sybil chat. There's a lot of personalities in there, I guess.
Yes.
I'd hate to be the doctor trying to dig them out.
Yes. Let me try and adjust this a bit. All right. I need to get used to watching all the different screens I have going here.
You need an engineer. Come on.
I
need
do.
A producer.
Yeah. I had a couple new people in the adios, Joel. I had a couple new people in the chat last night.
Hey, Joel.
It's like it was their first live stream with the multicam setup. They'd never, it's like they're used to that cell phone footage, set it up, and not the person on camera is not really paying attention. The dude was thrilled. He messaged me after the show. He's like, that was like an awesome live stream. I didn't know you could do that. I thought it was always like cell phone footage. It's like no, like there's. I'm not even a professional live streamer. I mean, as you could say I am, but it's like I've got like a bare bones setup. It's like there's people out there with much better setups than me. Like they have technicians. How you doing, boy? John Coffee.
Hey, John. Hey, Boar. How you doing? Ben, didn't see you there. Good morning, Ben.
Yeah, he's hard to. He's so short. Yeah, good morning, Paul Fontanini. Yeah, so that's really neat, and man, I do tell you, I'm doing a little bit more research on this OBS stuff, and there's just so much that I can do and learn, and there's still, obviously, as you can see with Tim's icon, still a lot of bugs that I need to work out. Like I have no idea why it makes him auto resizes him to tiny and then big and
because I'm insignificant.
Never. All right. Transition. Get back to it. Yes. If anybody needs to go tiny, it's me. Good morning, Lauren. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. So I noticed that, let's see, Gordon Farmer was talking about needing some advice on a power hammer. He's going to be building a homemade power hammer soon. What advice you got for him, Yamaz? You're in the middle of that right now.
Currently, right now, I am building the Clay Spencer Ray Clance tire hammer. Well, I'm in the gathering phase. I've got today. I'm actually going to go head up to Scott's unless he calls and cancels again. I'm going to go up there with everything that I have and with everything that I have in my shop and his shop, material-wise. Go over it all. Go over the list that we have, and then run to the store and buy any hardware that we need. The plan is to then build any small armature stuff, the small complex stuff at his shop, because, well, he's a better welder, plus he's already built one, and then I'll take, like the big anvil, which is 2 pieces that have to bevel, heat, preheat, and weld together. I'm going to do all that stuff at my shop, because I've got a bit of a more powerful stick welder. I think with my tombstone, I can take a 1/4-inch rod and throw it in there. But my suggestion would be buy a known set of prints. You can get the Ray Clance Power Hammer prints for $30, and it's a good, well-known, well-used. Dave Custer does classes on it. Yeah, and I recommend
that.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same one that John Coffey runs?
That is the same one John Coffey has.
Yeah, that is one nice machine. It works really well. I had the opportunity to use that, and I like it. I would never replace Scrappy with one of those pieces of junk, but
that was going to be
for what it is, it's
that was going to be my next caveat. It's like I'm going by prints because, as creative as I am, I'm not super mechanical. Okay, I have an understanding of mechanics. So let me take a quick moment and say hello to Penny and Curtis and everybody, jumping in right now. How you guys all doing? Wayne. I'd like to throw in the caveat there. If you are mechanically inclined and even one step above that, engineered, what would the phrase, Tim, be? Because you are this engineering inclined. If you have
there you go.
If you have a good head for that, you can pretty much make one from scratch, like not following prints. A very basic concept. It's a very simple, one of the simpler complex machines. All you have to do is get a hammer to rise and fall. That is the entire goal of any of the mechanics of a power hammer. Everything from there is just specs and details: size of the hammer, size of the anvil, size of the armatures that move it, whether it's a spring wheel system or whether it's a cam system. It's all there's many different ways to make a hammer go up and down.
Turning circular motion into linear motion is all you're doing, and it's pretty simple.
Roy's prints. Roy does have a beam hammer. I have those prints, and I do want to build that beam hammer, mainly because I think it's cool. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of videos on building power hammers out there. There is resources galore. The only benefit to buying plans is they give you parts lists, they give you instructions, and if you follow them, you can't go wrong. But if you watch a video and try to build it without any, like, well, how thick is this piece that it just shows a side view of in a video?
Right.
So you kind of got to figure a lot of stuff out when you're translating from video to reality.
That is correct. Yeah, and if you're going to do it on your own and engineer that and put it together, there will be some trial and error. Make no mistake, because the best plans on paper, when you put them into practical application, will always change.
Yeah. Here's another thought, and let me know. I want to hear your thoughts on this, Tim, on the subject of power hammers and such. For the green beginner, somebody who should they be worried about a power hammer, within their first 6 months to a year.
No,
I mean, I think really
no.
get your technique down before you worry. I mean, always scrounge if you see parts that'd be nice for a power hammer. Get them, set them aside, but don't make it your priority this early.
Well, it's there's a thing about being a blacksmith anyway. Typically, people who want to do the smithing thing are inherently sort of junk collectors,
Yeah,
and most of them are mechanical in some way, shape, or form. They have something going on that makes them, curious. So as you travel through the world collecting things to smith with, you're going to naturally run into just equipment that could be used, and you just start gathering it up. It took me years. Some of the stuff that I had that I put Scrappy together with, I've had for over 20 years.
right.
And yeah, and there's been times in my life when I went for 5, 6, 7 years without a power hammer, and I was still doing things and making, well, not a living at it, but my hobby, and I was selling, so I was making money doing it. But the first year, 2 years, 3 years, you really need to spend over an anvil, behind a hammer, perfecting your hammer technique, your all of your tool techniques and processes and how those work, and producing things, and you'll get better and better and better, because no matter what kind of a power hammer or press or whatever you have, that'll get the material moved quickly. But when it comes down to the detail, that's all done with a hammer. That's
Yeah,
all done with your hand, your
absolutely.
arm.
I mean,
Yes.
it can be done with a power hammer,
Yes.
but you'd have to have the proper dies to do it, proper
I've
technique,
never.
and you have to have that knowledge of how the metal moves already. You can't just throw metal in a power hammer and achieve, it's like if you don't know how the metal moves and you throw it in a power hammer, it's just gonna smash, you know.
Correct.
So, hey, what's up, veteran? I
Well,
seen you.
the other the other thing is that
You know?
you're not going you're not going to create a series of scrolls that all look the same with a power hammer. It's just not going to work.
Speargrass
Those little
says
detailed things. Go ahead.
Speargrass says he's got a question he wants to pose to the community, particularly you and I. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah, go ahead. We'll okay, here goes. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no, no. You're good.
um, I was asked by a friend, Smith, power hammer versus forge press, and I recommended that one of the two in the suburbs, a press for being quieter and slower but easier to control versus fast and loud and learning curve. Um, Now, I have used a power hammer before, and I have seen a press being used before. I haven't actually used a press. However, from it's like, Tim, I like your take on this too. From, good morning, Dylan and Bushcraft, from a beginner standpoint, and beginner being under 3 years for me, um, the way I see it is a press and a power hammer do two completely different things to the metal. A power hammer mimics, striking. Okay, a press presses it and it goes where the metal is gonna go. Like it's slow push. It doesn't. It's a different way to move metal. You can do this. You can strike the same spot and get a different result between the two machines. That's the way I see it. You know.
It the physical um, deformation that the two make in hot metal is can be different. If you take a piece of 2 inch round, 3 inch long mild steel, and you put it under a press and you press it up at temperature, it's going to bulge in the middle, and it's going to get short. It's going to turn into a hockey puck. So if you do this with a power hammer, if the power hammer is large enough, you'll get somewhat the same effect, But under a smaller power hammer, like a tire hammer, scrappy, that kind of thing, you're going to get a mushrooming at the top and the bottom. It's going to upset the top and bottom before the metal bulges out. So yes, they do different things to the metal
Yeah.
because of the impact. But the fact is that I have both. I use them in conjunction with one another. I use my press to get the material somewhere quickly. If I want a 2 inch thick piece down to 3/4 inch, I put a kiss block in there and I'll squeeze it down to that thickness and then I'll refine it with power hammer.
Mm-hmm.
My power hammer is what sets my forge welds. And the reason I use a power hammer for that is because the impact that it delivers is not the same as the squeezing power that you get with a press. The squeezing power of a press can trap things between layers. The impact of that hammer has a tendency to squirt things out from between layers,
Right.
and you get a much cleaner weld. So what I'll typically do is set a weld with a power hammer, and then I go over to the press and I'll get it to the next dimension that I need before I cut, fold, and then reset another weld. So I use them in conjunction for two completely different things, but they both move metal to where you need them to get to. But anytime I'm working on something that I'm forge welding, I'll use the power hammer to start the forge weld with. I'll move the material to where I want it, and then I'll finish it up with the power hammer because the power hammer gives me a much cleaner, tighter, nicer finish.
Right.
Yeah, because the press it'll just give you ripples through your material. And that power hammer will just take those out and make it nice, smooth, straight, square. It
Right.
works really well.
Right. I'd like to take a moment to say hey to everybody that just popped in. I
Yep.
see, hey, Dylan. Hey, Tina. How you doing? Mule Kick, good morning. Um, and Ting showed up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And did I miss anybody else? Trying to make sure I catch everybody. Randy's here. How you doing, Randy? Alex Hannerman. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what I was feeling. It's like different tools for different jobs, and
Uh-huh.
as with any tool, it does have the ability to have a multiple purpose. You know, it's like take the what in the field is called Klein's electrician's pliers, linesman's pliers. It's like we also call it an electrician's hammer because it's this big, stout, heavy-headed um, pliers, and well, it's great for knocking in staples and nails and all that stuff. Is like, but wouldn't do the same thing with a pair of needle nose or something. Um, so it's like the right tool for the right job. They do different things, but can be used for similar processes. Yeah. So, uh, yeah, Penny switched from YouTube to Twitter. Okie dokie. Or Instagram to Twitter. What did you say? Um,
It's New Penny's Forge on Twitter, is what she said.
yeah. I have a Twitter that I used to use for back in my comedy days, my acting days and everything. I really, really should delete that account and switch over to an Island Metal Forge Twitter. I've never been huge into Twitter. I've had the account for 15 some odd years, and it's like, I gotta use it.
Oh my goodness. I was looking for something and I can't find it. Anyway, um, yeah, so I don't think that did we finish answering
Yeah,
the power
yeah.
hammer question?
Did that cover the power hammer question there, Gordon? It was Jordan who asked. I believe we did. The two questions regarding the power hammers and presses and stuff. The power hammer was needing help building, and the best advice we could give is either buy prints or if you're mechanically inclined, build from scratch or from scratch. And then on the question regarding, the difference between power hammer press, which would be recommended, I think you asked for our opinions on it. So I think we kind of covered that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Yes. All right. We've got 46 viewers and 26 likes. If you could, please smoosh that like button and like that smoosh button for me. We got a $5 super chat in from Mr. James Jones. I highly appreciate that. I'm going to take this moment and change the color just for you, Mr. Jones.
So West Wells Fargo, Tim, how many ton cylinder on your press? It's a 26-ton log splitter, and it's average. It's a little below. Most of them are about 30 tons, and that one I got cheap, so it's 26 tons, but it seems to do everything it needs to. Hey, Roy showed up. Good morning, Roy.
And
How
your
are you,
sister.
sir? Hey, Stell. How you doing?
Hey, Roy.
What's up,
Hey,
sis?
Good
Not a
morning, you
fan
guys.
of
How y'all
Zuckerberg's
doing?
Nightmare
Yes.
Circus.
I see the lines of applause going in. Thank you again, Mr. Butte, Montana. How you guys all doing? And people are talking about where to get steel from. There's all sorts of places to get steel from. If buying, specific steels, you can, if you have a steel supplier near you, they can usually order steel for you, or you can order it from the various Alpha Knife Supply, New Jersey Steel Bearing, Baron, Jantz. You got all sorts of them. I mean, you just do a little bit of research and you can find tons. Um, you know, so yeah, West Falls is continuing as I get putting one together. Start with a 20 can move up if I need to. I think he was responding to you about the piston thingy, what you guys are doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Starting with a 20. All right. Hey, Ken.
More than enough. It'll work out just fine.
Hey, Shane. Yamez is low for me. Probably on my end. What I did with I noticed that I don't know if it's in fact the mic that I have. It's a lavalier mic that I won from another YouTuber, and I've noticed that the quality of it is not. It's weird. It started out excellent quality, and now it's like, I plug it in and I notice just a deteriorating audio quality coming from it. So I don't have that mic plugged in, so mic is technically a bit farther. But Roy, hey Dwayne, Ken, how you doing? Roy wants to know what our take on the big bubblegum debate. Juicy fruit versus Big Red, and go.
Oh, Big Red. Definitely Big Red for me. I'm not a juicy fruit fan, and I'll tell you why.
I don't.
I don't really have a reason.
I don't chew gum.
I kind of quit when I got some store-bought teeth.
I can't wait for my store-bought teeth.
Yeah. Oh, I had a photo I wanted to show you guys, give you a little teaser, but I cannot find it.
What's that?
Unfortunately.
You got a link?
No. It was a photograph on my phone. I was going to try to show it to you guys of something I thought might be of interest, but I don't think it's going to show up.
If you send it to me, I can put it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you send it, I can save it and put it up here easily.
I'll see what I can figure out here.
Uh, Stella's working on a new door handle for the shop. The first one will be store-bought, kind of like a horseshoe. The second, I think, will steampunk. Hint, hint. Nice. Yeah, I really do want to get more into the steampunk aspect of things. And this is the same as Power Hammer. Roy here just stirring up issues. Come on, Roy.
You know how he is. There we go.
J-Bo, how you doing, brother? Oh, yeah. Did you end up? No, you said it was going to be a week or so.
Oh, double bubble all the way. Power hammer versus press. Yes, it's the same old thing there, Roy.
Okay. Yeah. Were you able to send the?
No, it's actually not a picture. It's a. I didn't realize it is part of a video, and I can't pull a photo out of that video on my cell phone. I'm not smart.
Oh, okay.
It's a smartphone.
Okay.
Smarter than me phone.
Okay. I was gonna say because I have the ability, and actually I kind of set it up to where I can pull up either a website or an image to show people, and yeah, neat little things to be done.
That's because you're the tech guy.
Well, as I said, as I'm learning all of this stuff, it's like I'm finding all sorts of things that I can do. And with that, I need to go grab me some more coffee. So,
right
Tim, if you take the wheel for a moment.
Oh, holy! You mean I have to fly this machine? I told you it would never fly, Wilbur.
Holy.
We put the wings on the wrong end. Holy! Right on. All right. So let's talk bad about Yamez while he's gone. Oh my goodness.
Holy.
Holy. So nothing happened while you were gone, Yamez.
And I'm back.
I kind of figured. Nice.
Yeah, I'm having fun with this here. The ability to send messages. Smoosh that like button, everybody. It's fun.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Very, very cool.
Hey, Mr. Pekka, how you doing?
So now the question is gas versus coal, which is better?
Again, in my opinion, just like with the power hammer versus press, they both have their benefits, they both have their pitfalls, and they both have their place in the shop, you know. Like if I'm working several pieces of metal that need to be, you know, I need to be quick about it, and you know, it's just something like, you know, rocking out the 10 railroad spike knives that I did for trading for that other anvil that I have. You know, I threw, you know, 3 at a time, 4 at a time in the propane forge, just got them hot, you know, and then just boom, 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 you know, do one thing, put it back in, take another one out, do another thing, boom, boom, boom. But if I'm doing something that requires a bit of more isolated heat or just general forging or, you know, whatever, I'll use the coal forge, you know, primarily coal. Right, Brady?
Bryson, LD, and Tim, how did you like the TSC coal? He's talking about the Tractor Supply coal.
Yeah,
I went out and I bought like 7 bags of it. It's anthracite. And I got to be honest with you, a lot of people complain about that stuff, but with the bellows I've got hooked up to it, it burns awesome. It's that bellows puts out plenty of air. It keeps sinking while I'm working at the anvil, so it's not a problem for me. I'm enjoying it actually, and it burns super clean.
Right.
It's like very, very few impurities in it. So yeah, I'm digging it. I really like it. As a matter of fact, it'll probably be a couple of weeks away, but there's some more videos coming out of the solid fuel smithy here pretty soon.
Right.
We got some things I got to do, and I got some new material. So I wanted to pass this along only because this is some of the stuff people are constantly asking me, where do you get scrap, where do you get metal, where do you keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
So yesterday I went and got more propane in the big tank. I drug it down to the propane outfit, and I found a new place. A friend of mine told me about a place that was selling it for like $1.75 a gallon, and around here that's cheap. So I went down there, got the thing filled up, and I asked the guy, "So you got any more large tanks for sale?" He said, "Yeah, around the back. We refurbished them and recertified." He said, "Come on." So he took me back there, and we were looking at on the way by the back of his shop. There's a pile of scrap metal. What's that all about? I say, we do our own maintenance on our trucks because we deliver propane, and this is where all the junk goes. Pile of leaf springs and brake rotors and axles and bearings. And I'm like, you mind if I grab some? He's take all you want. So we're just going to throw it in the dumpster.
Right. That's like my
So I
mechanic.
got yeah, I got axles and bearing races. I got a bunch of stuff yesterday for free. And to me, it paid for the propane.
Exactly. I mean,
And scrap metal. So
y- y-
keep your eyes open when you're out and about. Just
yeah.
ask, because what's the worst they're going to do? Say no? I mean,
Exactly.
you know?
You know, like it. Like I'm trying to wear them down. The mechanic that I have, it's like they have an old mouse hole anvil in pretty pristine condition sitting in their shop. I go, you all use that? And they're like, not really. And I'm like, they're like, no. I'm like, I'll get it one of these days. Uh,
Yep, just keep working on them.
yeah.
Their grip will loosen eventually.
Eventually, what'll happen is they'll keep tripping over it and tripping over it and tripping over it, and then they'll be like, "Get this out of here!" And I'll be like, "Gladly."
No problem.
As somebody, a tip to those beginners out there: there's somebody beginning to work with metal. Um, make friends with people who have metal. Um,
Yep,
and it's not a matter of like make friends and they'll give you freebies, but you know, it's like if they view you as just a customer, they're gonna try and make as much money off of as they can. But if they view you as, hey, here's a buddy, that, you know, if you're friends with them, when they're out and about, they'll be like, oh yeah, I got a buddy that can use this, not a problem, and they'll set
yep,
it aside and they'll be like, hey, yeah, so here's what it costs for me to get it, I bought it, so you could basically buy it, and instead of them marking up a markup, and you end up paying a whole bunch, you got a buddy in the metal industry, be it,
yep.
scrapper or supply.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go up and see my buddy Corey here again real soon. It's the same thing. Guy works at a sawmill plant, the sawmill blade plant. They make sawmill blades up to like I don't know. I think they're up to 18 inches wide, and they're all made out of 15 and 20. And people bring their saw blades back to have them inspected, and if they're cracked, they can't use them. They end up throwing them in a dumpster. Corey calls me up and says, "Hey, I got some. You want it?" Oh yeah. So I get trucks of those saw blades for truckloads for free, and it's I do it probably 3 times a year, so I don't bug him to death. But he's more than happy to save that stuff for me, just because. And at one point, made him a knife, just to say thanks. Really grateful, loved it,
Oh yeah,
and yeah. So it's just kind of that trade, that bartering thing.
yeah. I mean,
Make friends with those that have the stuff, and you're good to go.
it sounds kind of, and I have trouble with this because you guys all know me. I try and be like, I give everything that I can, but it's like, uh, sometimes to a fault. um, and and I feel weird when, like, how to put it. I feel weird sometimes when promoting myself or when saying, oh, by the way, here I'm a blacksmith. I'll trade you this and this and this. It's like, well, in the back of my head, they don't need the junk that I make, but like, it's it's kind of weird for me. It's like I like what Tim said earlier, it's like you don't know, you don't ask, you know.
That's right. That's right.
It's like,
Put yourself out there. Pay attention to what you're doing.
yeah, I did that once. I got a bucket of rail spike knives from a customer for my electrical that I do. He used to work at a railway, and we were talking, and he saw that I think that time I was using a rail spike knife as my everyday carry, kind of like what I had on me, you know, a work knife, and he saw it, he loved it, and he wanted another, and I said, well, I only have a handful of spikes, and the next, because it was like a 3-day job, the next day he literally brought a 5-gallon bucket full of spikes. He's like, here, make me one, and I made him one, and he freaking loved it, and then
Yep.
showed all of his railway buddies, and I think like within a week I sold about 6, and it's like, cool,
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Sulbert? All right. I think everybody's kind of telling those out there where some good
Hey, Sully.
places to hit steel, to find steel. Yeah, in mechanic shops, welders shops. If they work with metal, they will typically have scrap. You know, if they work with machinery, they will typically have scrap. So, scrap yards is a place where they sell it. But if you can get to them before they sell it to the scrap yards, you can probably you can get it. So if you're having a trouble, because there are a lot of places that don't sell, or that they don't let them sell their scrap. So um, if you can get to it before they sell it to the scrap yard, you can get a good deal.
See you, Ignis. Take care.
Ignis is out of here. Adios, brother.
Looks like it. Take care of yourself.
What do you all do for fun on the weekends other than blacksmithing? Took Jessica out yesterday for her birthday to hike Presque Isle and see a lighthouse. Roy, that's why you.
There's something other than blacksmithing?
Yeah.
What?
Give Jess a hug for me. Wish her
What?
a happy birthday from me, please. Had I known it was her birthday yesterday, I'd have sang her a birthday song yesterday. But looks
No
like I
doubt.
might have to do that today. It was Caitlin's birthday yesterday. Stuff that I do outside of blacksmithing. Well, I edit videos.
About blacksmithing, right?
I go out in my spare time when I'm not editing videos or swinging a hammer. I usually go out in the shop and stare at my forge, waiting for inspiration to strike. Beyond that, after I'm done in the shop, I'll come in here. If I don't have any videos to edit at the moment, or if I am feeling extremely lazy, I'll toss on a movie and just sit in my chair and zone out and forget the world. Yeah, that's about what I do. Yeah. So, blacksmithing, life.
Hey, Caitlin. How are you?
Caitlin, Oris, how you doing? I feel we should sing a happy belated birthday to, or you don't have to, I will, to Jessica. So, Roy, if you go grab Jessica, I'll give her a big old one of my William Shatner happy birthdays. I used to fish mule kick. Man, that cough's going by way too fast. Good morning, Matt. Happy belated birthday, Jessica Adams. Yes, happy belated birthday. I like this. You guys are basically giving us topics to talk about. I mean, what you're working on and what I'm working on, we brush past that fairly quickly. Yeah, we got all this time for we got all this times for activities.
Yeah, activities. I like activities.
Somebody was asking. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, that was a Step Brothers reference. from the movie Step Brothers. I've been thinking about that movie a lot lately. It's like we can make bunk beds and have all this room for activities.
Get away from my drum set.
Ben knew what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that one of these days. Do a Zoom conference one of these days. All right, Jessica's here and expecting a song. All right. Tim, you want in on this? He's like, I'm put my phone down.
No.
All right. So
have at it, my friend.
all right, on the count of three, we got you, Jess. We got you. You are a loved member of the community. You are amazing. You are the reason Roy is awesome. So
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Go ahead. It's all you.
Oh, yeah, it's off. Happy belated birthday, dear Jessica. Happy birthday to you. Everybody hates it when I sing happy birthday in a crowd, because I do that even when everybody's singing normally. And everybody just goes, what are you doing?
It's a little hard to keep up with, yeah.
No, I purposely throw the pacing so far off on that nobody can keep up. I do that.
It's the William Shatner
it's
thing.
Little Ting's birthday too. That's right, yeah. Happy birthday, Little Ting.
That's funny. Well, look at all the cakes.
Henry St. Forrest, good morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, I do that. I do that all the time, and like the people stopped inviting me to birthdays. Like, no, you can't come. You don't know how to sing.
Yeah.
You got the bouncy house set up for them. Hey, Boar, I sing beautifully. Actually, last week's live stream, or the week before's live stream, got demonetized, got the ads pulled from it and everything, because my rendition of Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra was so spot on, it clicked over on the copyright infringement. So take that. Yeah, so
Granddad's forged for her birthday present. They should stop saying. That's pretty good.
Oh.
Oh, goodness. I apologize, everyone. I've got work bothering me.
You do your thing, brother. But yeah. I sing so well, a machine likes it. Yes, happy birthday to Ting's young one. I'm drawing a blank on the name Ting, but I'll do a happy birthday song real quick. I'll do it real quick. Let's see if I can get it. $10 super chat in from Aimless Adventures in Metalworks. Thank you very much, Matthew. Bye, Ting. See you later. No, Ben, he hasn't retired yet. He's got some stuff to do there before he does retire. Everybody give Aimless a round of applause. A line of applause. I appreciate it, brother.
I missed something.
There was a $10 super chat in from Aimless. I'm gonna have to start sending these over to you, buddy.
Nice. No. No, they let everyone know here, my future in all of this is going to be on again, off again a little bit, as far as here with Yames.
Yeah.
I've got other things in the works, and pretty much what I'm doing here is supporting Yames, trying to get things going for him. So I'm thankful that you let me come and hang out and annoy you guys, and I appreciate you being there. Mm-hmm. And I'll be here from time to time as Yames allows that. But I got a couple of other stuffs going as well.
Yeah. it won't be every single Sunday thing. Um,
No.
that does two things. That allows me to bring in other guests as well,
Hmm.
and do the occasional solo show, which um, I don't know what I do. Not I'm horrible solo, but yeah. If anytime Tim asks to be on, he's on. Understandably though, Tim is exceedingly busy, leading up to his retirement. So, and I know he's got several projects running, and yeah, so uh, probably won't expect you here next Sunday unless something works out where you can. Um,
Yeah, next Sunday I'm actually if indefinitely I will be working at my regular job probably for a while.
yeah.
The government dictates, so
Roy, but what if
one of
we
those
pay
things.
Roy with a $10 super chat? But what if we pay you to be here, Tim? I think he makes a lot more in his regular job than he does on super chats. I'm gonna have to send these seem to be going to you. Another 5 in from Aimless. Tim, what's your opinion of steel that is turned back into iron by letting it set in a forge and burn the carbons off? Ooh.
It just depends. It's going to be a tough thing to do, only because that carbon needs to be released. The only way you release the carbon is with oxygen. Carbon loves to bond with oxygen molecules. It will pull it out and it'll burn it up. But it's a difficult thing to do. You can decarburize the outside, but you'll never release it from the inside of the steel unless you absolutely burn it up. So, and this is how smelting of iron is done. Oxygen is introduced into the base, burns all the carbon and all that crap off, and then they reintroduce what they want in there, how much carbon. That's how they control carbon levels. So to get it to all come out in your forge, difficult thing to do. You can pretty much soften the outside by burning some of the carbon off, decarburizing a little bit, but you're not going to get to the middle of it. You can decarburize the outside, fold, forge weld, do it again, fold, forge weld, and reduce the carbon greatly, but you'll never get it back to iron without smelting it.
Right.
So that's the short answer.
I'm sure there's
I
a
don't want
very
to get
long
into the
answer for
metallurgy
this.
of it, but yeah.
Um,
So
that's actually neat. I hadn't even thought of doing that. So could you, in effect, make, and this is purely green question because I have no clue. Could you, in effect, um, using a smelter and throwing in scrap iron or scrap steel,
mhm.
make wrought iron? Make your own wrought iron.
Yes,
You can essentially
yes.
do that. That's
Well,
cool.
you see people making bloom metal all the time, right? You do, well, not all the time, but you see it on YouTube videos. And that's in essence what they're doing is they're taking small bits of iron. A lot of people will go to beaches and they'll use magnets to pick up what they call black sand, which is nothing more than magnetite, hematite, particles of iron. And then in that smelt, when they are melting it down into a bloom, it transforms into iron. You hammer it out on your anvil, and then you keep folding and hammering with either silica, which is like beach sand, or borax in it. And that inclusion from the beach sand, typically silica, is what those striations are, those impurities in wrought iron. It's exactly the way it's made.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you can make your own wrought iron. It's expensive. You're going to spend a whole bunch of money in charcoal to make a 10-pound bloom.
Yeah,
And on,
I believe the quad
go ahead.
squad is gearing up to do that end of June. Um,
Really,
yeah, I
going to
wish you
do it
could be
without
there.
me, are you?
I wish you could be
Yeah,
there.
I wish I could be there too.
Contact Han. You are more than invited. Okay.
Yeah, probably not more than able to get there though.
That's yeah.
That's my problem.
I need to. We need to. We need to add you to some of the contact chats and stuff whenever you're ready. You know.
Mr. John says we are doing a bloom at the end of June.
Yes,
Wow, that would be awesome.
that's what we're
I
talking
don't
about.
know. Is it you're gonna have to give me a date? Maybe I can climb on an airplane and do a quick, in and out kind of thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I have to see. I don't fly on airplanes.
Well,
Since they took my parachutes away years ago, I don't fly on airplanes anymore.
I'll let you after the stream. We'll go over some of the details briefly, just so that
Right
you're in
on.
the loop. Um,
Right on.
I don't want to. I don't want to. It's kind. Of, I don't want to say it's inclusive and excluding people or anything, but it's a private group of us, currently. So you are, sir, a part of the Quad Squad, and
Well, thank you.
yeah, you're a part of the Quad Squad. You're just busy. You rarely there. Um, but yeah, yeah. I wish you could come back again, Miss Penny. Maybe next year. Bring your boy. We'll all have a blast. You're not getting kicked out, Ben. I'm gonna shove you in a gerbil cage and ship you. Um,
Wow.
but anyway, I hate to say, it's like I would say if anybody has any questions, but we got 4 minutes. Last week okay. Roy sends another $10 super chat. Says no, seriously, what's your bottom dollar? Love you, Tim and Yamez, and he's referring to getting you to be permanently here. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be more than anybody here could afford. I'm sorry.
Picture, if you will, a man that makes billions of dollars on working on a Sunday.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Thank you.
No, I'm not worth all that, to be honest with you. I just have to use my time in different ways. So you become very, very aware of your own mortality as age creeps up on you, and you you decide that money isn't all of that. It's not the entire thing in life. Living is. So doing what I want to do when I want to do it and the way I want to do it, and it really ticks people off, is my goal in life.
Right.
So it's what So yeah, I've just got other things going. I am, however, I'm gonna put this out there real quick, Yamas. Maybe once a month might be doing a live stream thing, but I've been getting a whole bunch of questions from my patron folks asking me if I do a patron live streams for them. So that's
Sure.
something I'm looking at, but I'm not really, locked into anything because getting me to stick to a calendar in my off time is going to be a tough thing to do the closer I get to
Yeah,
retirement.
I mean that'd be cool. It's like, it's not to be not to exclude anybody, but it's like if that's, if your patrons specifically are requesting a patron only live stream, that might be a legitimate option for you. I mean,
And it's not to make money. It's for folks who are already there. And I've had maybe a half a dozen requests over the last month since this has changed, and it's something I'm thinking about. It's not to make people pay to watch the show. It's not what I'm all about. Those folks are already there and they're already donating, so giving them a little extra
sure.
is, not a bad thing, I don't think.
Yeah,
But
I have a Patreon account, and I have trouble trying because I like giving everything that I have to everybody around. So it's like I have trouble trying to decide what, if anything, I should do for members only kind of stuff. Um,
right,
like I
right.
have the ability, I actually have my channel set up to do. I haven't pulled the trigger officially on it, but I have my channel set up to do memberships, and with that does a whole bunch of perks for members. I'm like, well, what do I give to the members that you know I don't want
That's
to give
right.
to everybody else? So it's like that's rough for me.
It is a difficult thing because it's just an odd situation I find myself in, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that yet.
Um,
So,
I don't know if it's a quick question, but if we could do one quick answer. Caitlin's been trying to ask a question for a few minutes now, or a little bit now, and if we can do a quick answer,
yeah.
and then we'll call it a show. Um,
Is this
yeah,
Arborist Armory?
Ouroboros.
Is
She's
that
curious about the
okay?
difference
Ouroboros.
between
There you go.
bloom and puddle iron.
Bloom and puddle iron. Oh, let's see. Have you? God, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Let me look up the guy's name here real quick. Oh, there's an individual who's obviously on YouTube. You guys are going to have to forgive me. I'm typing and it's very slow for me.
See this though. Thank you for coming by.
Oh, goodness. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I can't find the guy. I think his name is. I'll have to put it up on the channel when I find it. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time doing this, but let's
Grayson
see.
was saying
Let me
he
get away from
believes a
all of
bloom
this.
is a sponge mass where a puddle is a molten mass.
No, that is absolutely correct. The difference there is that when iron is smelted, a bloom is at a much lower temperature, so you don't get flowing steel. So what happens is it becomes a very spongy product in the bottom of the kiln. You have to pull it out and you hammer it slowly together to get it to consolidate. And this is a very simple, ancient method. So you move into the future where folks come up with big blast furnaces, and then what they'll do is they melt iron, all the good stuff that goes with it, and they drain it off into pig iron. So what happens is they pull the plug in the bottom, they let it drain out into a long stream that's got small feeders on either side that basically pour ingots. So those ingots are called pig iron. So they'll take that pig iron, got a lot of imperfections in it, and they will melt it into the front of a blast furnace. It sort of runs downhill and puddles in the bottom and the back. And they introduce air and oxygen to control some of the impurities, to burn them off, some of the carbon, to get a more stable thing that's not cast iron. Because basically, what you're starting with is cast iron, and you're burning off a bunch of the carbon to get that carbon level lower. And eventually, what happens is that all that oxygen burns off. You get a more pure iron, and it's the same thing. They add silica to it, or just basically sand that turns to glass, and it becomes inclusions, and it's hammered out the same way. But they can actually pour it out before they start hammering. So it's a difference between liquid and basically a much lower temperature iron, which is a sponge that kind of gathers that you have to beat the impurities out of. So another short answer for you.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry it took so long.
I feel that I know last week we
That's
went
your
like
motorcycle there?
25 minutes over. And
Holy.
ooh-wee. So I don't want to take up all of your Sunday, Tim, and I don't want to take up all of you guys' Sunday morning. So I'm gonna try and cut it here, and we'll yeah. Any parting words, Tim?
No. Stay safe, everybody. Take care of your families, and keep your fingers crossed. Hope we get through all this scary
Yep.
stuff. I'm really feeling for all you guys. I think about you guys all the time. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Get out to your shops, do something awesome. Take advantage of a beautiful day. It's a nice day out. Take advantage of a rainy day. Get some indoor stuff done if it's rainy by you. And if it's late night, go to sleep. All right, guys.
Take care, guys.
I appreciate everything you guys do. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate you guys spending an hour, couple hours with me every weekend. You guys are fantastic. Big round of applause for Tim for showing up. And next week I hope to take advantage of Tim not being here and find another guest. And I don't know who that will be just yet. So yeah, you guys have a wonderful time. And we will see you later. Hearts and health, everybody.
See you guys. Take care.